Inside one of the most advanced rocket engines ever built, entire systems have vanished. Not miniaturized, not hidden behind panels, gone. If you stand in front of the RS-25, the engine that powered the space shuttle and now flies on NASA's Space Launch System, you're looking at something that feels almost alive. Tubes wrap around the engine like arteries, thick feed lines branch into smaller ones, and external manifolds sit bolted on like mechanical organs. It's dense, intricate, and every visible line is doing something critical. Those pipes move cryogenic propellants at extreme flow rates, route high-energy gases to turbines spinning at tens of thousands of RPM, and feed cooling systems that stop the engine from melting itself apart. Now, compare that to Raptor 3, and something feels off immediately. It looks cleaner, less chaotic, almost like parts are missing. And that's because they are. Most of the external plumbing that defined engines like RS-25 has been eliminated. That's not a cosmetic change, it's a fundamental shift in how rocket engines are designed, built, and expected to operate. For decades, external plumbing wasn't optional, it was the only way to make these engines work. The RS-25 runs on liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, stored at around negative 423 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 297 degrees Celsius, and negative 297 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 183 degrees Celsius, respectively. These propellants don't simply flow into a combustion chamber. They're pumped, split, partially burned in pre-burners, converted into high-energy gases, and then routed to turbines before finally being injected and burned completely. That creates a maze of flow paths. Hydrogen goes one way, oxygen another, hot gases are redirected to spin turbopumps, and coolant loops weave around the chamber and nozzle to absorb extreme heat. In the RS-25, much of this routing happens externally, which is why you see that forest of pipes. Every bend, every junction, every weld exists because engineers had to physically connect separate components. It's brilliant, but it comes with a cost. Each joint adds weight, each bend creates pressure losses, and every connection becomes a potential failure point under extreme thermal and mechanical stress. Those risks weren't theoretical. During the space shuttle era, RS-25 engines required extensive refurbishment after each flight, not because they were poorly designed, but because they were pushed to the edge of physics. Temperatures swung from cryogenic cold to combustion levels above 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 3,300 degrees Celsius, causing materials to expand and contract repeatedly. Over time, that creates fatigue, microcracks, and seal degradation, so the engines were removed, inspected in detail, and rebuilt. That level of maintenance is acceptable for a program flying a few times per year, but it becomes a major obstacle when your goal is rapid reuse, flying again in days, not months. That's where Raptor 3 changes the game. The mission profile for Starship demands airline-like operations, and suddenly all that external plumbing becomes a liability. You can't quickly reuse an engine that depends on hundreds of external connections, each needing inspection. So instead of improving the plumbing, SpaceX rethought where the plumbing should exist. In Raptor 3, the pipes didn't disappear, they moved inside. Internal manifolds replace external lines, turning the engine itself into a network of embedded flow channels. Instead of routing propellants around the engine, they flow through it, inside the structure, integrated into the metal itself. This eliminates entire categories of hardware. No bulky external ducts, no flanges, no complex assemblies bolted together piece by piece. But that introduces a new challenge. How do you build something like that? Traditional manufacturing simply can't create intricate internal channels that twist, split, and merge inside solid metal. For decades, engineers were forced to design around that limitation, which is why engines like RS-25 look the way they do. Raptor 3 exists because that limitation no longer applies. Advances in additive manufacturing, metal 3D printing, allow engineers to build components layer by layer, embedding complex internal geometries directly into the structure. Flow paths can curve in 3 dimensions, channels can branch seamlessly, and entire sections can be produced as single pieces. Instead of designing components and figuring out how to connect them, engineers design the ideal flow first, then build the engine around it.
This shift has massive performance implications. In traditional engines, propellants travel through long external lines with multiple bends and junctions, each introducing small pressure losses. Individually, those losses are minor, but across an entire system, they add up. Internal manifolds shorten those paths dramatically. Fluids take more direct routes, reducing turbulence and improving efficiency. At the pressures Raptor operates, over 300 bar or more than 4,350 psi, those gains are critical. For comparison, the RS-25 operates at around 207 bar or roughly 3,000 psi. Both are extreme, but Raptor pushes into an even more demanding regime where even tiny inefficiencies can cascade into major performance penalties. Weight reduction is another major advantage. External plumbing isn't just complex, it's heavy. Pipes must be thick enough to withstand pressure, reinforced to survive vibration, and supported by brackets that add even more mass. By eliminating those external systems, Raptor 3 removes significant weight that doesn't directly contribute to thrust. And in rocketry, every kilogram matters. Reducing engine mass improves thrust-to-weight ratio, which in turn allows for lighter vehicle structures or increased payload capacity. It's a cascading benefit that extends far beyond the engine itself. Reliability also improves in a way that isn't immediately obvious. Most failures in high-pressure systems occur at interfaces, where parts meet, where seals can fail, or where welds can crack under stress. The RS-25 has hundreds of such interfaces. Raptor 3 dramatically reduces them by integrating flow paths into continuous structures. An internal channel doesn't rely on a gasket or a bolted connection. It's part of the metal itself. That eliminates many traditional failure points, which is crucial for an engine designed to fly repeatedly with minimal inspection. However, internalizing manifolds introduces new challenges. Inspection becomes more difficult because you can't visually check internal channels the way you can external pipes. Engineers must rely on advanced techniques like X-ray imaging, ultrasonic testing, and detailed pressure diagnostics to ensure integrity. If something goes wrong internally, you can't simply replace a pipe. You may need to replace an entire component. This shifts the engineering focus from assembly and maintenance to precision design and validation. SpaceX addresses this through rapid iteration, testing engines repeatedly, pushing them to failure, and refining the design with each version. Additive manufacturing makes this process faster, allowing design changes to be implemented without retooling entire production lines. Thermal management is another area where internal manifolds provide a significant advantage. Rocket engines operate at temperatures that can melt most materials, so regenerative cooling is essential. In this process, cryogenic fuel flows through channels around the combustion chamber and nozzle, absorbing heat before entering the combustion cycle. In Raptor 3, these cooling channels are integrated directly into the structure, allowing for more precise control of coolant flow. Engineers can target hotspots more effectively, leading to more uniform temperature distribution and reduced thermal stress. This not only improves performance, but also extends the engine's operational life, which is critical for reuse. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, the difference between RS-25 and Raptor 3 represents more than just an incremental improvement. The RS-25 is the pinnacle of a design philosophy built around precision machining and modular assembly, constrained by the manufacturing technologies of its time. Raptor 3 represents a new approach where those constraints are largely removed. Instead of designing engines as collections of parts connected by pipes, engineers can design unified systems where structure and function are integrated. From the outside, Raptor 3 looks simpler, almost minimalistic, but internally it's far more complex than anything that came before it. The complexity hasn't been eliminated, it's been absorbed into the structure, where it can be optimized and protected. That's the real breakthrough. It's not about removing plumbing, it's about redefining how that plumbing exists. And when this approach is scaled across an entire vehicle like Starship, the impact multiplies. With dozens of engines operating together, reducing weight, eliminating failure points, and improving efficiency at the engine level translates into massive gains for the entire system. This is how you move from rockets that require extensive refurbishment after each mission to vehicles that can be reused rapidly and reliably.
In the end, the disappearance of external plumbing isn't just a visual difference, it's a signal of a deeper transformation in engineering philosophy. It shows what becomes possible when design is driven by physics rather than manufacturing limitations. The pipes didn't disappear because they weren't needed, they disappeared because engineers found a better way to achieve the same goals. And that shift is one of the key reasons why engines like Raptor 3 are pushing spaceflight toward a future where rockets operate less like disposable machines and more like true transportation systems. If you want more deep dives like this, breaking down the real engineering behind the most advanced machines ever built, subscribe to Rocketry and follow us on Facebook and Rumble.